My wife chose to end our marriage through an email while I was away serving overseas, and she drained our joint account. Yet, I received my divorce papers via email while I was still surrounded by the vastness of the desert. 13 years of marriage concluded in a digital document. My name is Alex, and I am 42 years old, serving as a staff sergeant with the 82nd Airborne. After 4 months in Kandahar, Chloe reached a point where she could no longer hold back her feelings. The subject line whispered, "Let's embrace our maturity in this moment." The message was brief, consisting of just 3 sentences. She had already submitted the necessary documents. She had already drained our shared account. She had already welcomed her new companion, Logan, into our home in Spokane. I read the email twice, closed my laptop, and stepped into the warm embrace of the shower in the communal stall. Afterward, I dressed for my shift, enveloped in silence, saying nothing to anyone. Upon returning to my bunk that night, I responded with a single word. Comprehended. That was the moment. There will be no disputes, no pleas, and no intimidation. Ethan, my bunkmate, sensed that something was amiss. "Are you well?" he inquired, his gaze still fixed on the pages before him. "Indeed," I expressed. "Just a few things from home." He nodded, and in that moment, everything seemed to linger in the air, a quiet understanding passing between them. Military individuals understand the art of restraint and the importance of knowing when to step back. The truth is, I found no surprise in it. 6 months prior to deployment, everything had shifted. Delicate moments. Chloe ceased her inquiries about my day, began to linger at the dental office where she fielded calls, and committed to the gym 3 times a week. Yet she always appeared untouched by exertion. Fresh garments, unfamiliar companions, and secret codes hidden within her device. I chose not to confront her, refraining from checking her messages or shadowing her every move. That's not the essence of my being. Yet, I was not oblivious to the surroundings, so I took subtle steps of my own. Nothing overly intense, just a gentle sense of caution. I carefully placed significant documents in a storage unit across town: my birth certificate, marriage license, and the house deed that bears only my name, all made possible through the VA loan and military benefits paperwork. I placed my grandfather's watch alongside my mom's cherished old silver in the same unit. Elements that held significance. I decided to open a separate account at another bank, gently guiding a portion of my earnings to that new place. It was just subtle enough for her not to perceive, yet significant enough that I wouldn't find myself beginning from scratch if circumstances took a turn for the worse. The evening before my departure, she embraced me at the airport, her voice soft as she whispered, "Stay safe, all right?" Her eyes held a quiet stillness, as if she were bidding farewell to a colleague, rather than a beloved partner embarking on a journey into uncertainty. I should have realized it then, yet a part of me still clung to the hope that I might be mistaken. I was not. What she was unaware of was that I had been ready for this moment, and what she couldn't grasp was that I never initiate conflict. Yet, I do complete them. I encountered Chloe at a friend's barbecue in 2010. I found myself at home, nestled between tours, sharing moments with my dear friend, Caleb, in Spokane. She was completing her journey through nursing school, yet found herself embracing a role in administration at a dental practice instead. She whispered, "Let go of the stress." 8 months later, we exchanged vows. Chloe often expressed her pride in my devotion, even as she struggled to grasp its essence. Her father held a position of authority as a bank manager, while her brother dedicated himself to the world of pharmaceuticals. There is no military background in her family. She would inquire about when I would find a true vocation, unaware that after 15 years, the Army had become my life's calling. It was more than mere employment. It was a moment of connection and reflection. In 2014, we found our home. It wasn't extravagant, yet it held a special place in our hearts. 3 inviting bedrooms, a cozy small yard, nestled in a tranquil neighborhood. My name was the sole one on the mortgage, as the VA loan was in my name, yet I chose to include her to the act, for that is the essence of marriage, sharing moments, intertwining lives. My father passed away a year after our wedding, succumbing to a heart attack while shoveling snow. My mother departed 3 years later, succumbing to lung cancer, even though she had never indulged in a single puff throughout her existence. They entrusted me with some money, not a vast sum, but sufficient for Chloe and me to settle her student debt, financial support, and still maintain a sense of security. I experienced 4 deployments during our marriage, 2 in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. Every time I returned home, Chloe appeared increasingly distant, a touch more restless, as if she were embodying a character she had long since outgrown. "I didn't sign up to be a military wife," she confided to me one evening, her voice laced with a mix of vulnerability and strength after I suggested the idea of re-upping for another 4 years. I longed for connection, feeling the weight of solitude pressing down on me. I realized that, indeed I did, Yet the army was the only realm where I ever sensed a genuine sense of belonging. I excelled in my role. There were those who relied on my presence. In 2019, subtle shifts began to unfold, gentle changes that whispered of something more. Chloe felt a wave of irritation wash over her when I called during her girls' nights, and she began to share her thoughts about her friend. Isla had parted ways with her husband and was embracing a vibrant new chapter in her life. She began to express thoughts about how the connection between us seemed to have faded over time. I recommended seeking guidance through counseling. She whispered that we were okay, merely navigating a moment in time. Then came the lingering nights at work, the weekends spent with newfound friends, the enticing new clothes, and the gym membership that remained largely untouched. I wish I had found the courage to face her. Yet, that is not the way I approach matters. Not yet experienced. My father instilled in me the importance of reflection before I express myself, to find certainty within before I take action. As I observed, I readied myself in silence, for an instinct deep within me whispered that something was on the horizon. In this journey, you come to embrace the whispers of your intuition. 2 weeks after receiving the divorce email, I found myself in the mess hall, lost in thought, when my phone buzzed softly, pulling me back to the moment. A gentle alert from our banking app. Another withdrawal, $8,500, nearly all that remained. I set my fork down and opened the app, feeling a gentle anticipation wash over me. The balance of the joint account had dwindled to $212.37. All of our hard-earned savings, a sum of $47,000 accumulated over the years, vanished entirely, moved to an account that felt foreign to me. Isaac, a member of my unit, cast a fleeting glance my way. Unfortunate tidings? I secured my phone. No, it's just a few account details. That evening, I reached out to our bank from the base phone center. It was revealed that Chloe had been quietly shifting funds for weeks, starting with modest sums and gradually escalating to more significant amounts. The significant transfers began the very next day after my arrival. I hung up and lingered in the hallway for a while, observing the men as they laughed, reaching out to their children, their partners, their families. Life unfolded in its usual rhythm around me, while my own world was consumed by flames. It was then that Ethan discovered my presence. "Alvarez mentioned that you appeared as if you had encountered a specter during dinner," he said. "How are you feeling today?" Typically, I keep my personal experiences to myself, but there was a time when Ethan rescued me from a difficult circumstance in Kandahar. I placed my trust in him. My wife cleared out our accounts and welcomed her boyfriend into our home, I shared. Received divorce papers while I was on patrol last week. Ethan was refreshingly honest with me. "I understand, and I empathize with your feelings. It's tough, but I believe there's someone out there who will truly appreciate you." He softly inquired, "What do you envision for the future?" "I'm still contemplating," I replied softly. He inclined his head slightly. "Feel free to reach out if there's anything you desire." That evening, rest eluded me. I opened my laptop and connected to our home security system, a detail Chloe might have overlooked in her busy day. The cameras revealed an unusual truck parked in our driveway, a man I had never encountered before strolling with our dog, sipping from my coffee mug, and draped in my Seahawk sweatshirt. And there was Chloe, her laughter filling the kitchen I had lovingly transformed during my last leave. A subtle change stirred within me. Not quite anger, but rather a chill, a clarity that cuts through the haze. I gently closed the laptop, feeling a sense of calm wash over me as I reached for my phone to create a list. Reach out to Graham, my dear friend from the Army who has embarked on a journey as a lawyer. Explore the details of the VA loan terms. Reach out to Master Sergeant regarding urgent leave. Reflect on the home refinance documents, a topic that Chloe brought up in a lighthearted manner last year. Verify the security of my military pension accounts. A sense of peace washed over me, replacing any lingering sadness. I found myself devoid of anger. I felt a deep sense of purpose, as if I were orchestrating a delicate dance of intentions. This moment transcended emotion. This was about a delicate dance of intentions. At 0500, just before my shift began, I reached out to Graham with an email, the subject line lingering in my mind. Seeking guidance in legal matters. Subtle and pressing. His response arrived an hour later. Reach out to me. Only for those who seek a safe connection. As I ended that call, a deep understanding washed over me, guiding my next steps with clarity. I found no reason to raise my voice. I found no reason to issue a threat. I found no need to face her directly. I simply had to observe, allowing her own choices to weave the snare around her. 2 months later, I found myself once again on American soil. I kept my return a secret from Chloe. Didn't reach out. Did not text. I've just arrived at a cozy motel in downtown Spokane, using a different name, and I've reached out to Graham. Our paths crossed at a quaint diner, nestled 10 miles beyond the town's edge. You look utterly worn out, he remarked, easing himself into the booth. I feel that way as well, I responded. Graham offered me a folder, his fingers brushing against mine in a fleeting moment that lingered in the air. I have everything we talked about: the deed to the house, the loan documents, the bank statements, and this. He gently extracted a different sheet of paper. I discovered something intriguing while exploring your finances. It was a refinance application adorned with my signature. Yet, it was not my mark upon the page. Not entirely. Someone attempted to replicate it, yet the nuances eluded them. The middle initial was incorrect, and the stroke pattern didn't belong to me. Chloe took this step, I inquired. Even though the answer was already clear to me, Graham inclined his head slightly. 3 months passed. Utilize the equity to withdraw $30,000. Your signature is needed for that, as the VA loan is solely in your name. Craft my signature, secure a loan against our home, then settle our accounts and part ways, I expressed. A woman with a full schedule. It will only improve, Graham whispered softly. She included her boyfriend as a co-applicant. He carries a story within him: 2 instances of driving under the influence and a charge of fraud from 2019. I inhaled deeply. What choices do I have? Several, Graham murmured. But first, you must reflect on your desires. I pondered over it. I desire what is rightfully mine, and I wish for her to grasp the weight of her actions. Graham offered a warm smile. Then, let us embrace this moment together. The following day, I found myself driving by our home. Though her boyfriend's truck had disappeared, Chloe's car remained nestled in the driveway, a quiet reminder of her presence. I parked down the street and observed for a moment, contemplating the idea of knocking on the door, of facing her directly. Yet, that was not how it was meant to unfold. Instead, I made my way to the bank, where I encountered the loan officer who had guided me through the refinance process. I revealed my military ID to him, displayed the authentic signature on my driver's license, and unveiled the forged documents. His face lost its color. I must share this without delay. I see, I replied. I have already submitted a report to the authorities. That evening, a message from Chloe illuminated my phone. Whom have you been conversing with at the bank? Logan mentioned that someone was inquiring about certain matters. I remained silent. The following day, I visited the county clerk's office, submitting paperwork to challenge the refinancing has become necessary due to deceitful actions, and I have formally registered a notice indicating that no alterations to the property may occur without my presence. 2 days later, Chloe reached out. I allowed it to slip into voicemail. Alex, we must have a conversation. The bank reached out regarding the house. What are you up to? If this pertains to the divorce, we can approach it with maturity and understanding. Like those who have experienced the depths of connection. The identical phrases from her message. I remained silent. Graham reached out that afternoon. They have put a hold on the refinance funds, and there's something more to it. Your wife's companion has been taking your truck for a spin, hasn't he? The one that resides within your name? Indeed. This morning, he found himself stopped, the weight of his past decisions evident as he faced the reality of driving with a suspended license due to those DUIs. The vehicle was taken into custody. Very well, I replied. He possessed a few intriguing items in the truck. Prescription pads from the dental office where Chloe finds her purpose. They held a depth of feeling. I gently closed my gaze. She has been taking prescription pads? It appears so. The authorities are looking into the matter. I hung up and settled on the edge of the motel bed, lost in thought. This was growing beyond what I had anticipated. A part of me longed to reach out to Chloe, to share a warning with her. Familiar patterns. Yet, the memory of the security camera footage lingered in my mind. My home, my companion, my journey, offered as if it held no value. This was the path now. I found myself unable to retreat, and truthfully, I had no desire to. I encountered the bank fraud investigator the following morning. The name was Thompson. A petite figure with weary eyes, adorned with a coffee stain on his tie, tells a story of long days and quiet moments. Text: this occurs more frequently than one might imagine, he remarked, as he laid out the papers across his desk. My partner is away on deployment. Another partner perceives a chance. What unfolds next? I inquired. We have halted the funds from the deceptive refinance, yet a complication has arisen. Part of the money has already slipped away. What is the cost? Approximately $14,600. I leaned in closer. Where has it vanished to? Thompson lingered in uncertainty. I'm afraid I can't share that information. This is my sanctuary. My name, crafted with care. My funds have been taken from me. He nodded slowly, his gaze lingering as he turned his computer screen toward me. These are the movements away from the refinancing account. I perused the list. Numerous transactions directed towards an individual named Brandon Cole. Not him. Another presence that was unfamiliar to me. Who is Brandon Cole? I inquired. Thompson let his shoulders fall in a gentle, resigned motion. This isn't my area of expertise, but I recommend reaching out to your lawyer to request a subpoena for those records. I reached out to Graham the moment I stepped away from the bank. Brandon Cole, he whispered softly. Allow me to take a moment to explore this. An hour later, he reached out again. Understood. Brandon Cole is a passionate real estate agent, focuses on swift transactions and immediate cash arrangements. She intended to part with our home, I remarked. The realization washed over me, a wave of profound intensity that left me breathless. It appears so. The deposits likely served as a heartfelt gesture to encourage him to take action on a listing. However, this is where the allure begins. Cole has previously engaged in business with Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan is indeed your wife's boyfriend, yes. In the past 2 years, they have forged 3 significant partnerships together. I settled onto a park bench, allowing my thoughts to swirl and intertwine as I sought to make sense of it all. This was more than just Chloe choosing another man over me. Was this truly a carefully orchestrated endeavor? Perhaps, Graham replied with a thoughtful pause. I explored the depths of Logan Ryan. He moves with a rhythm, engages with women navigating the complexities of divorce or those with partners away on deployment. I have discovered 3 cases thus far. With every transaction, the woman's home finds its way into the hands of one of Cole's clients, often at a price that whispers of its true worth, lingering in the air like an unspoken promise. Ryan receives a small wound. Then he gently shifts away. And Chloe? Did she truly know about this? It's difficult to express. Perhaps she is a soul caught in the web of circumstance, feeling the weight of her own struggles. Or perhaps she is aware of it all. I gently caressed my face. This had evolved beyond merely Chloe's betrayal of me. This felt like something profound, something deliberate. And other military families had endured their share of heartache. What shall we do? I inquired. Graham mentioned that he has already reached out to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. This traverses boundaries, engaging those in uniform and the realm of VA loans. There is a spark of curiosity. That evening, I found myself in my motel room, a beer in hand, lost in thought about it all, questioning whether Chloe had been weaving a web around me throughout our marriage, or if she had simply become entranced by Logan's allure, contemplating whether it truly held significance. My phone vibrated softly. Once more, it's Chloe. Alex, I long to hear your voice. The bank has raised concerns about potential fraud, and Logan has been taken into custody for driving your truck. I find myself lost in a whirlwind of emotions, struggling to grasp the unfolding moments around me. I lingered over the message, allowing its words to wash over me for what felt like an eternity. Then I inquired, who is Brandon Cole? 3 dots emerged as she began to type, hesitated, resumed, paused once more, and finally found her words. I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. 14,600, I penned. Several transitions. Property listing? Silence lingered for 10 minutes. Then, it's not as you imagine. I switched off my phone and slipped into bed, embracing the quiet of the night. The following morning, Graham summoned. The FBI wishes to arrange a meeting. For months, they have been delving into the lives of Ryan and Cole. You're not the initially. You could be the one who shatters the silence and reveals what lies beneath. For the first time since receiving that divorce email, a sense of contentment washed over me. Not because my marriage had reached its end, yet it was the unveiling of truth that brought a profound sense of release. I encountered the FBI agents at their field office in Spokane, Agent Rivera and Agent Brooks. They captured my words, made copies of all the documents. Graham and I had come together. Agent Rivera conveyed that your case reveals a deeper connection, illustrating intent and organization, transforming it into a conspiracy rather than mere isolated events. What about Chloe? I inquired. My former partner. The agents shared a lingering gaze. We are still exploring the depth of her engagement, Brooks said thoughtfully. Did she ever speak of struggles with finances? Feeling the urge to part with the house, I reflected on the past. She continued to express that we were home. Unfortunate, that we should simplify our lives. I felt no reason to pursue it. My salary made our mortgage payments feel within reach. Rivera crafted a whisper. When did it all begin? Approximately 6 months prior, during the period when she likely encountered Logan. And did Brooks inquire about the refinance? It was never brought up between us. She crafted my signature while I was unveiled. They inquired further, capturing every detail with care. As we concluded our encounter, Rivera gracefully offered me her card. We'll connect soon. For now, it's best to hold back from addressing your wife or Ryan directly. We must approach this matter with tenderness and thoughtfulness. I gave a gentle nod, comprehended. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I found myself drawn back to our neighborhood, parking my car a little way down the street from our home. Logan's truck had returned, likely rescued from the confines of impound. Chloe's car had vanished into the night. My phone vibrated softly. Message from Chloe. We should meet face to face. Join me at Riverfront Park tomorrow. I will reach out to you in the morning. As we shared breakfast the following day, I revealed the text to Graham. Stay, he urged softly. Engaging with her at this moment seems unwise. I cannot, I replied. Yet, I find myself curious about her day, wondering what occupies her thoughts while she believes I'm on my way to meet her. We arrived at our home at 9:30 a.m., parking gently across the street. At 9:45, Chloe emerged, slipped into her car, and drove off, her destination set for Riverfront Park. What comes next? Graham inquired softly. Now we linger, I whispered. 20 minutes later, a car glided to a stop. The logo of the real estate agent graces the door, inviting a sense of warmth and possibility. Brandon Cole. Logan stepped forward to welcome him. They shared whispers in the driveway, then stepped inside together. Should we pursue their path? Graham inquired. I gently shook my head. There's no necessity. Last year, I set up security cameras both inside and outside my home. They gently placed their memories into the cloud, allowing them to float and linger in a safe embrace. Graham offered a warm smile. You hadn't brought that up earlier. It never crossed my mind, I murmured as I reached for my phone. I gently opened the security app, tilting the screen just right for Graham to catch a glimpse. Cole and Logan found themselves in our living room, the atmosphere thick with unspoken feelings. Cole was capturing moments. Logan was gently highlighting the charming details of the house. I raised the volume, letting the sound envelop me. Cole mentioned that the list should be ready by the end of the week. A potential buyer has already expressed interest. As always, a cash offer. What is the cost? Logan inquired. $420? We present our listing at $470. They propose $420, and in the end, everyone finds satisfaction. What of the husband? Chloe expresses that he is stirring up some complications. Cole gestured with a hint of indifference. Men in uniform share a certain camaraderie. They create a stir, yet they carry the weight of their duties and commitments. He'll accept a resolution to let it fade into the background. I glanced over at Graham. Are you receiving this? He was capturing the moment on his phone, each and every word. I shared the security feed access with Agent Rivera, accompanied by a brief note. Unfolding in this very moment. Half an hour later, our home was enveloped by the presence of FBI vehicles. I observed from a distance as the agents escorted Cole and Logan away, their hands bound in handcuffs. The sound of my phone echoed softly in the stillness. Agent Rivera. She mentioned that they were captured on tape discussing the scheme of deceit. Additionally, there are elements of intrigue, deception, and the effort to transfer ownership of assets under misleading circumstances. We would appreciate a formal statement from you. Certainly, I replied. And Mr. Briggs? Your wife has just stepped into the moment. She feels a deep sense of turmoil. I gazed down the street. Chloe stood on our lawn, her hands covering her mouth, her eyes wide with a mix of disbelief and concern as FBI agents moved with purpose, carrying boxes of documents from our home. What unfolds for her? I inquired. It all hinges on that, Rivera replied softly. On what she understood deeply, and on what you desire. I gazed at Chloe for an extended moment. 13 years of togetherness. Beautiful years, filled with promise at the start, before all that had unfolded. At last, I expressed my desire for what is just. The federal case progressed with remarkable swiftness. Logan and Cole each accepted plea deals, revealing connections between themselves and several other conspirators in a complex operation that spanned 3 states, focusing on military families. Chloe insisted that she was unaware of the broader plan. Logan had persuaded her that I was concealing wealth, scheming to abandon her with nothing. He mentioned that the idea to refinance came from him. She had simply surrendered to the moment. Perhaps that held a deeper truth. Perhaps it wasn't meant to be. In any case, she consented to a resolution, ensuring complete restoration of the misappropriated funds, relinquishing any rights to the home or my military pension, along with a written admission regarding the forgery. In return, I chose not to pursue charges. The divorce was finalized 6 months after that email from Kandahar. No blame, a fresh start, all things taken into account. On the day the final paperwork was completed, I received a call from Agent Rivera. Today, Logan Ryan received a sentence of 8 years for his involvement in fraud, conspiracy, and identity theft. Cole received a score of 12. I thought you might like to be aware of this. Thank you, I whispered softly. She added, with a hint of intrigue, that there was something more. We uncovered signs that this has affected 11 other military families. Your situation guided us in shaping the framework. Your actions could lead to those families receiving their money back. After we hung up, I settled onto the porch of my rental apartment, gazing at the sunset. My thoughts drifted to those other families, to the men who had deployed, believing their homes and marriages were secure, only to return to a profound sense of emptiness. I never intended to be the one to unravel the intricate web woven by Logan and Cole. I simply yearned for what belonged to me. Yet, there are moments when life unfolds in the most surprising ways. My phone vibrated softly. Message from Chloe. I never intended for our journey to reach this conclusion. I remained silent. Silence enveloped the moment, leaving an unspoken weight in the air. A year passed, and I let go of the house, could no longer bear to exist within it. Countless memories linger, each echoing with the weight of betrayal woven into those walls. I invested the money in a quaint cabin nestled just outside of Missoula, Montana. 2 inviting bedrooms, 10 sprawling acres of land, a gentle creek meandering behind, and solitude that stretches for miles. I embraced an early departure from the Army. 2 decades felt like a lifetime. I had offered all that I could. I welcomed a German shepherd into my life, a loyal companion I named Scout. Embarked on a journey of crafting beautiful woodwork for the community. It wasn't extravagant, yet it occupied my hands and ensured the bills were taken care of. My military pension provided the final touch. At times, I found myself reflecting on Chloe, pondering the path her life had taken. Graham learned that she had returned to her hometown in Oregon, engaging in a new dental practice, embarking on a new journey, I suppose. I no longer felt animosity towards her. To be honest, I didn't feel a strong connection with her. She had crafted her decisions, and so had I. One evening, I received a letter from a woman in Fort Worth. Her husband was away, serving in the Navy, while Logan and Cole attempted to execute their plan. Her presence lingered in the air, a soft whisper that stirred something deep within. The FBI had shared my name with her as part of the unfolding narrative. You may not be aware of it, she penned, but you have brought warmth back to our sanctuary. Thank you for standing your ground when it would have been simpler to turn away. I immersed myself in it twice. Then I gently affixed it to my refrigerator. There were moments when the stillness felt overwhelming, and the memories pierced my heart. In those times, I would gaze at that letter, reminding myself that amidst it all, something beautiful had emerged. The last I knew, Logan remained behind bars. Cole as well. The system finally came together, creating a moment of unexpected harmony. In my journey, I was discovering the path that lay ahead. On a serene day, in a moment suspended in time, creating a fresh beginning, something that remained untouched, pure, and unwavering, something that belonged solely to me.